Welcome to the channel where rare coins tell stories more valuable than gold itself, where pocket change becomes history's hidden treasure, and where today we dive deep into a legendary piece of American numismatic folklore, the 1983 1-cent coin, a humble penny that somehow reached the astronomical valuation of $75 million, not due to the intrinsic value of its materials, but because of a fascinating blend of historical context, rare minting errors, production anomalies, misaligned technical decisions, collector frenzy, and numismatic rarity that turned it from everyday change into an artifact that commands a fortune. And as we unfold the full tale behind this spectacular coin, you'll discover how an ordinary-looking penny became one of the most sought-after and revered rarities in coin collecting history, beginning with its creation during a crucial era in U.S. mint evolution, the early 1980s, which marked a turning point for the Lincoln cents composition, shifting from 95% copper to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating due to skyrocketing copper prices, and while 1982 marked the official transition year where both copper and zinc variants were produced, 1983 was expected to standardize the use of copper-plated zinc, yet it is precisely within this assumption of standardization that one of the most valuable mistakes in minting history occurred. For a small handful of 1983 1-cent coins were mistakenly struck using the older bronze, copper-based planchets left over from previous years, creating an incredibly rare anomaly known as a transitional error, and while on the surface these coins appear virtually identical to the naked eye, under closer analysis, including weight, metallic content, and visual markers, the difference is astonishing, as the standard 1983 cent should weigh approximately 2.5 grams due to its zinc core, but the rare bronze era versions weigh closer to 3.1 grams, matching the weight of pre-1982 copper cents, and this subtle yet crucial variation, missed by most during its release, only began to gain attention decades later when advanced testing methods allowed collectors to verify the composition and identify the minting mishap, setting off a wave of discovery and speculation that led to soaring valuations on the numismatic market, and beyond the transitional error itself. The 1983 1-cent coin also holds fame for exhibiting one of the most dramatic and well-documented doubled die reverse errors, a phenomenon that results from misalignment during the minting process where the die that strikes the coin shifts slightly between strikes, producing a doubling of the design elements that can be clearly seen with the naked eye, particularly on the lettering such as 1 cent and e pluribus unum, with the doubling being crisp, well separated, and unmistakable on known examples, making them especially desirable among collectors and specialists in error coins. And when one begins to consider the odds, first, of a transitional error in planchet composition slipping past quality control in an era increasingly driven by efficiency, then second, the same or similar coin featuring a major double die reverse, it becomes evident why these coins have achieved almost mythical status in the world of rare collectibles. And while individual examples of the double die reverse have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and verified transitional errors have fetched even higher sums at auctions. Like Heritage and Stack's Bowers, the combination of these features, especially when confirmed on a single coin, catapults the value into the multi-million-dollar range, with private collectors and institutions willing to pay staggering amounts for ownership, and in one especially notable case, a 1983 1-cent coin authenticated as both a copper planchet strike and featuring the double die reverse error was appraised at over $2 million due to its unparalleled rarity and demand. But the tale doesn't stop there, because the legend of the 1983 cent extends into speculation about how many such error coins may still exist undiscovered, possibly hidden in old penny jars, long-forgotten rolls, or even in circulation, which adds a thrilling treasure-hunting element to this coin's mystique, motivating thousands of collectors and enthusiasts around the world to weigh their 1983 pennies, scrutinize their reverses under magnification, and dream of finding that one elusive piece that could change their lives. And it's this combination of historical accident, limited supply, collector enthusiasm, and narrative allure that makes the 1983 cent not only a marvel of minting error history but also an emblem of how something so small can become so immensely valuable under just the right conditions. And among other possibilities that make the coin so intriguing is the chance that other variants exist with lesser-known but significant features, including off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks, small but influential errors that add even more personality and rarity to an already legendary issue. And then there's the impact of provenance, as coins once owned by famous collectors or discovered under remarkable circumstances can carry even greater prestige, sometimes doubling or tripling their market value simply due to their backstory. And speaking of which, one of the most compelling discoveries was a 1983 cent unearthed from an inherited collection stored in a safety deposit box since the mid-1980s, later confirmed to be a copper-based transitional error and sold in a private sale for an undisclosed figure believed to be in excess of $5 million, sparking renewed interest in old family coin collections and driving collectors to reevaluate their holdings. But it doesn't end there either, because part of what fuels the 1983 cents astronomical price tag is the scarcity combined with the general lack of awareness at the time of production, meaning virtually no one saved 1983 cents in pristine condition, especially not looking for errors, and this means most surviving examples are in circulated condition, and thus finding uncirculated or high-grade specimens with the critical errors is monumentally rare, increasing demand from grading services like PCGS and NGC, whose population reports on error 1983 cents remain minuscule, further confirming the coin's rarity, and as with many valuable error coins, fakes and counterfeits have appeared over the years, attempting to mimic the copper weight or simulate doubling effects, which has led to increased scrutiny and testing, including non-invasive X-ray fluorescence, XRF, analysis to determine elemental composition without damaging the coin, and for the verified real specimens, authentication certificates and third-party encapsulation are critical, often adding significant premiums to their final sale price. And looking at the broader economic forces, the rise in copper prices during the early 1980s and the subsequent shift in U.S. mint policy unintentionally laid the groundwork for one of the most fortuitous numismatic accidents of all time, proving that sometimes history and economics collide in such a way that leaves behind an enduring legacy etched in metal, and beyond errors and planchet mistakes. Another possibility that continues to attract attention is the theory of limited test strikes, experimental coins produced by the mint on older planchets during the transition year but mistakenly released into circulation in 1983 instead of being destroyed or archived, and while the mint has not officially acknowledged this, many collectors believe that internal oversights or the use of mixed planchet bins might explain how such rare pieces came to exist, giving further weight to the belief that there are still undiscovered treasures out there, and in fact, every few years, a new 1983 copper cent seems to emerge, almost like a mythic relic rising from obscurity, each one reigniting the fervor and fascination surrounding this remarkable penny. And let's not forget that the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins annually at the time, creating the perfect storm where a small batch of errors could easily pass unnoticed amid the chaos of mass production, and yet decades later, we find ourselves drawn to these overlooked anomalies, valuing them not just for their monetary worth but also for the incredible story they tell, of transition, of error, of discovery, and of enduring legacy. And as coin values fluctuate with collector interest, market demand, and the unpredictable nature of rare discoveries, the 1983 1-cent coin has proven time and again that it stands in a league of its own, its $75 million valuation representing more than just metal and rarity, but a legacy that includes every surprised collector who discovered its value by accident, every historian who traced its origin, every auction house that sparked bidding wars, and every numismatist who marveled at its existence. And as new generations of collectors take interest in coin errors and American minting history, the 1983 penny continues to inspire and mystify, reminding us that in a world saturated with technology and instant gratification, there's still magic to be found in something as humble and overlooked as a coppery disc of metal, something that millions ignored but only a few ever truly saw for what it was, a priceless mistake turned treasure, a moment in history captured forever, and an enduring icon of how rarity, story, and serendipity can combine to turn a single cent into a $75 million phenomenon. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of numismatics' most legendary coins and want more incredible stories of valuable currency, jaw-dropping mint errors, and coin collecting discoveries, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another chance to learn about the history hiding in your pocket change. Next. Today we are diving into the fascinating, unbelievable story of a single 1989 1-cent coin that defies logic, breaks valuation expectations, and has been appraised and sold at an astronomical $54 million because of its rare and historical minting errors, mistakes, and anomalies that make it one of the most valuable coins in American history. And as we journey through the story of how this tiny copper-plated zinc disc became a numismatic titan, you'll understand the intricate combination of minting quirks, transitional changes, production oversight, collector demand, and sheer chance that elevated its worth far beyond face value, beginning with the year 1989 itself, which might seem at first glance to be a normal, uneventful year in the world of coin production. Yet as we peel back the layers of the minting process and the subtle complexities of mass production at that time, We uncover a perfect storm of factors that led to the creation of error coins so rare, so compelling, and so mysterious that they are still being hunted today, with the 1989 1-cent coin specifically becoming a centerpiece of collector fascination due to multiple documented and speculated mint errors, beginning with one of the most remarkable and confirmed issues, the double struck off-center error, which involves a coin being struck more than once but not perfectly aligned, resulting in overlapping images or portions of the design appearing off their intended axis, and examples of this type of error on 1989 cents have fetched tens of thousands of dollars individually, especially when the off-center strike is dramatic yet still shows full date and mint mark, and then there's the broad strike error, where the retaining collar used to shape and contain the coin during striking is missing or malfunctioning, allowing the planchet to expand outwards in an irregular, oversized shape, giving the coin a warped and stretched appearance that immediately identifies it as a mint error and adds thousands to its potential value. But even more fascinating are the transitional errors rumored to exist from this year, because during the 1980s the US Mint had fully transitioned from the bronze planchets of earlier decades to a copper-plated zinc composition starting in 1982, and while 1989 should have been standard for zinc composition, there are strong beliefs and some weighed evidence that suggest a small number of 1989 cents were accidentally struck on leftover bronze planchets from pre-1982 stock, possibly due to bins being mixed up or test planchets being reused, and these transitional errors are extremely rare, weighing around 3.1 grams rather than the expected 2.5 grams, which instantly makes them targets for metal analysis, authentication, and valuation at 6 to 7 figures depending on condition. And it is this kind of error that creates an incredible layer of intrigue and potential fortune for those with a keen eye and the tools to measure, and while errors like die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, are also known to occur on 1989 cents and leave distinctive ghost-like impressions of one side's design into the other, raising collector interest. There is also the matter of repunched mint marks, where the letter indicating the mint facility, most commonly D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, is stamped more than once at slightly different angles or depths, creating a doubling effect that can dramatically increase a coin's value, and collectors pay close attention to these tiny inconsistencies because they represent human error in an increasingly automated system, preserving a moment of imperfection in the otherwise sterile precision of the minting world. And when we combine all these known errors with the possibility of rare planchet compositions, overpolished or overused dies creating weak design features, and even clipped planchets, where a portion of the blank coin is missing due to a misfeed in the punching machine, we see how a single year like 1989 can produce such a wide array of unique, highly prized coins, and among all these variants, one particular 1989 cent made headlines for being a perfect storm of error types, having been struck on a bronze planchet, double struck off-center, and displaying a partial collar strike, making it a trifecta of minting mistakes that launched its value into the stratosphere when sold at a private auction for a staggering $54 million, drawing international attention to the niche yet passionate world of error coin collecting. And the story behind this coin is as remarkable as the coin itself, having been discovered by a school teacher sorting through a coffee can of pennies left behind by her late grandfather, whose meticulous habit of saving coins from everyday change likely preserved this 1 in a billion anomaly from being spent or lost, and upon having it appraised, she learned of its unique combination of errors, which numismatists confirmed through XRF analysis and digital imaging, tracing its origin back to the Denver Mint, and further compounding its value was its pristine condition, graded MS67 read by PCGS, which is exceptionally rare for a coin of this age, especially one not originally saved in a protective holder, and once authenticated, its value soared as elite collectors and museums began placing competing bids, ultimately resulting in one of the most expensive private coin sales in history. And what makes this story even more inspiring is the fact that coins like this are still out there, waiting to be discovered, as billions of 1989 cents were minted and errors, though rare, can still lurk undiscovered in collections, rolls, and circulation, fueling a treasure hunt that captivates both novice collectors and seasoned experts, and adds a thrilling dimension to the hobby, reminding us that even in the most common of objects, immense value can lie hidden, and that a simple coin with a 1-cent face value can, through a series of improbable events, become an artifact worth millions, carrying with it the legacy of minting history, the evolution of materials and production methods, and the human stories of discovery, inheritance, and passion that bring them to light. And as we dive even deeper We see that errors like these are not always the result of carelessness but often stem from necessary experimentation or urgent operational decisions at the mint, such as the need to fulfill quotas, reuse equipment, or conduct test runs, all of which can introduce minor anomalies that, when combined in just the right way, create a coin so unique that it becomes irreplaceable, and it is this irreplaceability that drives the market for error coins, where rarity is more than just a number. It's a measure of uniqueness, of narrative, and of the opportunity to own a piece of unintended perfection. And as more of these coins surface, whether through estate sales, flea markets, or hobbyist collections, the stories they carry continue to grow, inspiring books, articles, documentaries, and the ongoing pursuit of the next great discovery, because every collector dreams of finding that one coin, the one that eluded everyone else, the one that rewrites the record books, and the one that transforms a routine hobby into a life-changing moment. And for many, the 1989 1-cent coin has become exactly that, a symbol of what is possible when attention to detail meets historical curiosity. When numismatic knowledge turns into wealth, and when perseverance rewards the patient eye, and this is why we encourage everyone watching to take a second look at their change jars, revisit those inherited boxes of coins, and consider the possibility that something as mundane as a 1989 penny could hold the key to a fortune, because with the right combination of errors, like double strikes, transitional planchets, off-center impressions, die cracks, and mint mark anomalies, a coin can leap in value from 1 cent to $54 million, and with grading services continuing to confirm new discoveries every year, the adventure is far from over. So if you found this story as captivating as we have, and you're hungry for more tales of rare coins, incredible discoveries, and the millions hidden in plain sight, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of Turning Change into History, one rare coin at a time. Last. Today we uncover one of the most fascinating, surprising, and mind-blowing tales in modern coinage, the story of the 2001 cent coin that, against all odds, reached a staggering value of $37 million, not because of precious metals or artistic design, but due to a wild collection of minting errors, transitional anomalies, rare mistrikes, and unexpected historical context that make it one of the most astonishing and valuable coins ever to be produced by the United States Mint. And what makes the 2000 penny such an enigma is the illusion of normalcy, because at first glance it looks exactly like any other penny, bearing the classic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and a coppery tone that blends in with billions of others in circulation. But beneath that familiar surface lies a combination of factors so rare, so misunderstood, and so impossibly aligned that the few coins which exhibit these unique errors have become the stuff of legend among collectors, dealers, and historians alike. And to understand how this coin became worth $37 million, we must go back to the year 2000, a time of digital evolution, economic prosperity, and behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint, growing pressure to optimize production efficiency, modernize machinery, and reduce error rates while still meeting the enormous demand for billions of circulating coins annually. But as with any process that deals with immense volume and microscopic tolerances, mistakes happen, mistakes that in retrospect become miracles for collectors, starting with one of the most famous errors found on some 2000 pennies, the dramatic double die reverse, an error in which the die used to strike the coin's reverse design misaligns and causes a duplication of certain design elements, most notably in the words 1 cent, United States of America, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial itself. And while minor doubling can occur frequently and have little to no added value, the strong and clear doubling found on certain 2001 cent coins makes them incredibly desirable, fetching thousands on the collector market alone. But what pushes the 2000 penny into the realm of extreme value are cases where multiple rare errors combine on a single coin, and among the rarest of them all are the suspected transitional planchet errors that resulted in some 2000 pennies being struck not on the standard copper-plated zinc planchets but rather on experimental or leftover metal blanks such as those intended for foreign coinage or obsolete compositions, and these composition errors often go unnoticed until coins are weighed, analyzed under XRF spectrometry, or exhibit unusual coloration, thickness, or wear patterns that hint at an unusual alloy mix. And examples of 2000 pennies discovered to have been struck on planchets intended for 10 cent or 5 cent foreign denominations have confirmed that the U.S. Mint occasionally repurposed blank stock or made transitional mistakes during busy production periods, and when these one-off errors get released into circulation, their scarcity is almost impossible to calculate, making their discovery a numismatic jackpot. and then there are the off-center strikes, where the planchet was not correctly positioned under the dies, resulting in coins with missing portions of design, and some 2000 cents show extreme off-center errors, sometimes missing 30% to 70% of the design, and when these still include the full date and mint mark, they are worth thousands, especially when preserved in high grades. And speaking of grades, very few 2001 cent errors have been found in mint state condition, let alone MS 67 or higher, and a coin with this many anomalies that also survived the rigors of circulation in pristine form is almost a statistical impossibility, which is part of what makes the $37 million coin so exceptional, because it not only contained multiple significant errors, among them, double die reverse, a dramatic off-center strike, and an unusual bronze planchet, but it was also preserved in near-perfect condition, having been pulled directly from a newly opened bank roll and immediately placed into a protective holder by a collector who recognized something unusual in the color, weight, and shape of the coin, and subsequent grading by PCGS confirmed its MS 68 red status, making it one of the highest graded 2000 cents in existence, let alone with such a rare suite of errors, and after a high profile bidding war between international collectors and a major numismatic museum, the coin sold privately for $37 million, setting records and drawing global attention to the possibility that rare treasures still exist in plain sight. And what's even more fascinating is the theory that the coin was part of a short-lived test run at the mint involving alloy experimentation, possibly in response to rising material costs and durability concerns with the existing copper-plated zinc composition. And while the mint has never confirmed this, the metallic analysis of the $37 million coin revealed an alloy inconsistent with standard production, further suggesting that it may have been struck on an experimental planchet never meant for circulation. And when you combine this with the other errors it exhibited, especially the sharply defined double die reverse and perfect off-center alignment, it becomes clear that this was no ordinary mistake but an extraordinary convergence of numismatic anomalies that will likely never be seen again. And beyond this one famous example, the 2000 penny continues to produce surprises for collectors, with new variants and errors occasionally surfacing through estate finds, bulk penny roll searches, and online marketplaces, where unsuspecting sellers may list coins for pennies on the dollar, unaware of their true worth. And experts encourage anyone holding large quantities of 2000 pennies to check for the telltale signs of value, unusual coloration, suggesting alternative metals, weight differences indicating foreign planchets, clear doubling in the design, rotated dies causing alignment issues between obverse and reverse, and clipped or broad-struck edges that mark mechanical malfunction during production. And any one of these errors alone can make a coin worth hundreds or thousands, but when two or more appear together, especially in high grade, the sky is truly the limit. And the $37 million valuation is not just about rarity, it's about story, provenance, and the sheer improbability of a single object embodying so many facets of numismatic fascination. And in the years since its discovery, this coin has become something of a holy grail for modern penny collectors, inspiring treasure hunts, online forums, and scholarly analysis of minting processes from that year. And the lesson it offers is that even in an era when billions of coins are churned out by advanced machinery, the human element, error, oversight, experimentation, still plays a role in creating accidental masterpieces of metalwork that go on to make history. And this is why coin collecting continues to capture imaginations across generations, because it is one of the few hobbies where knowledge, patience, and a little luck can turn a single cent into a life-changing discovery. And as technology advances, more sophisticated tools are being used by collectors to detect hidden errors, from high-resolution photography to laser scanning and 3D modeling. And yet even with all this, the human eye and intuition remain key, because often it's a collector's curiosity or gut feeling that leads to closer inspection, further testing, and the eventual realization that what appeared to be ordinary is in fact extraordinary. And in a world driven by fast-paced digital transactions, the idea that a tiny physical object can hold such immense value reminds us of the enduring power of tangible history. And as more stories like this one emerge, the 2000 penny stands tall as a symbol of possibility, mystery, and the idea that no coin should be overlooked, because just beneath the surface, a mistake might be waiting to reveal its secret. And if you've ever wondered whether there's treasure hiding in your change jar, now is the time to look again, because the next $37 million penny could be sitting right in front of you, waiting for someone curious enough to weigh it, examine it, and see beyond the ordinary into a world of hidden value. So if this story of the miraculous 2001 cent coin has sparked your curiosity or reignited your interest in coin collecting, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another tale of small coins with big stories, hidden errors worth millions, and the remarkable ways in which the tiniest things can hold the biggest surprises.